I'm Jack. I play in a band called Marmozets, and we're in sunny Keighley, West Yorkshire. So we're at the Exchange in Keighley, it's called. It's a music venue, it's like a 150 capacity venue. It's dead cool, sort of local bands playing, that type of thing. And there's also a recording studio up the road, sort of music hub, really, of the area. Pretty cool, yeah. Yeah, so we started the band in 2007, I think it was, sort of like the end of 2007 when we were still in school. So we kind of just started jamming together and that type of thing and sort of played gigs locally and all that. And then from there started doing sort of bigger shows and getting on tours and that type of thing, which is always pretty exciting. I haven't done that in a while. And then we've sort of released 2 albums through Roadrunner Records that we did. And then yeah, did a bunch of shows, a bunch of festivals, and then now we're at a point where we're starting to write again and get a new album done. So the first time I sort of saw Laney, I think besides the obvious being Sabbath, because everyone knows that and there's a massive link there, but for me the first time I heard Laney and thought, this thing's really cool. This band is a relatively small band from Birmingham actually called Blackfish. None of their gear was on stage. They like carried it through and just sort of chucked it on stage and just plugged in and played, and it was like this most mind-bending set. And they were like, wow, it was just like a completely crazy band. And then I think from there, we sort of met, speaking to Fen here, through, well, it was a festival, wasn't it, 2000 Trees, I believe it was. And then we sort of got back in touch again, and I saw these things, these LA30BLs online, and I was like, this is sick. I've always loved old things or old amps, and then to have the sort of old looking thing or classy looking thing, but with all the sort of vibe of that, as well as not gonna blow up every time you turn it on, with which you get with old things. With all the sort of reliability of new amps and everything is just, it's everything you need and everything you want, I think. For me especially, like, I love literally everything about it. It sounds so good. It's very loud, but it does the job, doesn't it? It sounds great. So down here we've got the Secret Path and the Monolith. They're both very different in sound, but they're sort of, I use a lot of kind of shimmery reverby, so quite subtly, I guess, in sort of breaks within songs. I've always loved that sort of sound as well. So to have something like that where it's not just one type of reverb, you've got kind of the spring which you'd get from, like, again, like an old sort of valve amp with a reverb built in, but it's so real sounding, it's sort of a bit crazy really. It just doesn't sound sort of artificial anyway, which is such a lovely sound to it. And there's the shimmer, which I love stuff like that as well. And the shimmer just sort of is an amazing thing. You sort of play one chord and you can just sort of sit there and be like, just listen to this for a bit, it sounds great. And then that Monolith, I've literally just got this, but it's so good because it's just, all I've ever wanted from overdrive into distortions is just how an amp should sound distorted, really, rather than it sounding like sort of amp and then pedal, and it sounding like 2 completely different things. That, from what I've learned with it today, is just that it basically emphasises what the amp's doing already. We were saying earlier as well, it's almost like that pedal is basically this amp in a box in a really weird way. You can kind of get if you're going through the different channels on this amp here, you get different tones completely. And with that, you can do that sort of by adjusting it's like a parameter knob, isn't it? It's like crazy. So I think the thing I miss the most about sort of the band sort of lifestyle and sort of touring and that type of things, the general kind of having a laugh with your mates aspect is really lovely, and you're sort of all in it together. And I think that and sort of just festivals has always been a really big part for us as a band, and sort of seeing, it's almost like a way of seeing your band progress is where you are on a bill of a festival. Once you sort of get higher up on like bigger stage and stuff, it like feels like you can see the progression in the band, and it's sort of quite rewarding, I think, that for us. Oh, I love all of it. I love all of it, me.